Oh, he's starting early.
Yes. Okay.
You
So.
recording now?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Welcome back, part 2 of Safe Space. Well, episode 2 of Safe Space. Today we are talking about leads, red flags in men and in women.
It's gonna be spicy.
Yes. So.
Y'all finna get on my ass.
You ready? Hi guys. We're
What's
saying
up?
hi to the people that are online.
What's up, a lot of people?
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna start by giving my deal breakers in women. Um, and then I'm gonna move. Well, actually, I don't know if I want to start with men or women, but I think
start with men just so you can have less hate.
You think so?
Yeah. It'll be like, okay, you know, people love to say misogyny and all of that stuff. So if you start with men, it'll be easier on you.
Okay. 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 So we can jump right into it then.
Okay.
And Chaz is gonna give her feedback about my list while we're going through it. That way y'all can feel like y'all have an alias, and it's not just me berating women or berating men.
All right, let's get into it.
Okay, so the first red flag, and I forgot to mention this. The difference between a deal breaker and a red flag is a deal breaker are things. Deal breakers aren't necessarily negative. So deal breakers are things that you specifically can't do in your relationship. So for me, I can't date somebody that has kids. I don't have kids. So somebody else having kids, I don't really want to deal with that responsibility for a number of reasons. But it's fair because I don't want kids. But that doesn't make that a negative thing. You know, you having a child doesn't make that a negative thing. But a red flag, that's more questionable.
Yeah.
So right into it, and this is one we both agree on, but love bombing. Amen.
Narcissistic.
Big gestures, big gestures. So the way that we both look at it really is gestures are something that are supposed to have actual meaning behind it. So if you start off the rip just doing a whole bunch of big things and big gestures, there's no way you've actually worked to develop any kind of emotional connection with the person for those gestures to have anything behind it. It's kind of like a control narrative or a control push. And if you have the resources, to men who actually have those kind of resources, that's nothing. So it's not an actual sacrifice. It's not something that took time or took real value to give to you.
But for most people, we are mostly average men and women. If a man, for me, in my experience, if a man is doing too much in the beginning, it feels like he's trying to convince me to like him or convince me to love him. Like, it's a turn off and it'll push me away. Like, what is wrong? I know I'm the shit. But what is wrong with you for you to not feel confident enough about yourself for me to like you for you? Like, why are you trying to convince me so hard with like all these grand gestures? And can you keep the same energy? So,
yeah. And gestures are not right. It's not from the heart. It has nothing to do with him getting to know you. It's more like a show.
at
It's
all,
like him
literally,
showing off.
literally.
Right. So, and then the next one that I'm sure y'all are familiar with, but he only wants to chill. This one is to me a pretty obvious red flag, but it seems like a lot of people struggle with this. There's no possible way you can get to know somebody in a bunch of different environments if the only environment is somebody's apartment or somebody's crib. There's nothing you can learn about somebody by just chilling.
Now, that is true. I've encountered two spectrums with this. So, really, it depends on the woman. So, if you're looking at the age group, so if you're still in college, chilling is kind of normal, you know, like that college age. But it's just like after college, if he's still just trying to chill, to me, like it comes off as like you just want to hook up, you know, like a man should be proud to, if he thinks you're beautiful, if he really wants to pursue you, he should be proud to be seen with you in public, you know, so. And it's just like, dang, he don't want to spend no money. Like he can't even go take you out to get a burger. Like he just want like you as a pet. That's really what it's kind of like. Like you just gonna have me around as a pet. Like it don't feel good.
And you should be going on dates.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with going on dates at all. It's just how you interact with people in
yes,
like a healthy way.
Yeah, and you need to be able to see it like you can have fun with this person, you know? So if you don't even know if you can have fun with them, all you know is like Netflix and chill. Yeah. That's no way to live your life. Yeah. That's miserable.
And to men, I don't know, this seems to be a recurring thing with men. There are a lot of ways that women can use you, but her wanting to go on a date and her wanting to experience different things with you is not usually. I mean, that's still quality time. There are ways that we will get to later on in the podcast about how women can actually use you, but going on a date, come on.
And the thing is, a date doesn't even have to be expensive. It could be a cute picnic in the park. It costs nothing to go to the grocery store, get some sandwiches, grab some wine, a little paint kit from, Hobby Lobby, and a woman.
A
You could
puzzle.
spend literally $30 on that as opposed to a $250 date. And that woman is going to be like, oh my gosh, she was so thoughtful. He put in so much effort to create a vibe for me. It's really about the vibes that are created.
And great conversation too.
Yes.
The next one I have is huge promises early. This kind of goes in conjunction with love bombing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is more verbal. This is more, this is what I plan to do. This is what I want to do. This is how this is going to work. This is the plans that I have for us. It's like, slow down. You don't even know this person yet. And I think a lot of men have picked up on the fact that women want to hear these things. Women want to hear that you have some kind of game plan for the two of y'all. But until he shows some action,
That
until he
comes with
shows
love,
some exactly, and until he shows some consistency, we haven't even got to the part where y'all are consistently going on dates yet, consistently spending time yet. You know what I mean? Meeting each other's friends. So a lot of big, a lot of big promises early. It's all, it's just words. It's not
Literally,
right.
just words.
Right. The next one I have is dismissive of women's opinions. So this, I feel like this is another obvious red flag, but I think this kind of displays a lack of respect for women.
Yeah, it all goes back into narcissism, really.
Right. Or just kind of being blowing off things that women have to say about certain topics. Because like I've noticed with certain men, they have a propensity to educate men differently that they would about women who both don't know the same thing about a similar topic. You know what I mean? So it's like you got to treat ignorance the same in both ways. Dismissing somebody's knowledge on a certain subject or somebody's opinion on a certain subject kind of shows like I don't really respect what you have to say. I don't really respect your thoughts as a person.
It's literally like you can tell as a woman when a man he doesn't care about anything you have to say. It's like, damn, am I just an object? Like, what am I actually here for? If you don't see me as a person outside of sexual or outside of just the look. Yeah, like, still a person at the end of the day.
The next one, and this one is huge for me, and this one is rape and sexual assault apologists. This is self-explanatory. Anybody defending those kind of actions or trying to see the humanity in someone like that, we already understand that people who do bad things or do wrong things still have a humanity element, but the focus should be on the repercussions and how you systematically weed those people out or prevent those situations in the first place. Anybody who's defending those kind of actions, that is a huge, huge red flag because that means that they'll even allow that in their inner circle. That's huge problem. Definitely something I would be on the lookout for.
That I agree, and I feel like there's a difference. Like, okay, you can have empathy for a lot of things, but empathy for that,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. No empathy for that. Like understanding it from a psychological point of view, cool, but it still needs to be, taken care of. It doesn't mean that it's right. Understanding does not mean agreement. So when people get that, then I feel like even amongst men, they'll be more equipped to hold the other person accountable.
Yeah. Definitely seeing that's how victims lose their dignity for the rest of their lives.
Like, and the guy gets a pat on the back. It's okay, man. It was just a bad moment. No.
Yeah. People who struggle with those things have to do with those things forever. And so this is a big one for me too. Success oriented with no purpose, mission. This to me screams very fame and wealth craze. There are some people in life who pursue wealth because they just want a peaceful, relaxed life. They want to retire. They don't want to do this anymore. Right. Like I know you I'm tired of doing it.
I'm trying to do something else.
Right. Some people just want a very peaceful and easygoing life, which is fair. But there are other people who are kind of obsessed with this idea of success or wealth with no actual end in mind. And I think that's a red flag because what that shows you is that they'll use any opportunity or any resource they have to leverage themselves in any situation. to me it shows lack of loyalty. And to me it's like a very, very shallow trait. It's kind of like it's given very 48 laws of power. Very, very, right.
We'll
very
step on anybody to get to the top.
Anybody. Very, very controlling. Kind of, these people are in my life just as pawns, as pieces, not as actual humans that I want to develop a relationship with. To me, that's concerning.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree with that. And I feel like it also comes from a place of like, they just want a bunch of outside praise and validation. Like, you're doing it so everybody can be like, oh my gosh, you're so amazing. Like, wanting to basically step on everybody in any type of way that they can. So, I agree with that.
And then here's another one. Dates reflect luxury lifestyle, but not things that you enjoy. So this is a spinoff, I guess, of love bombing technically, but what a lot of dudes will do, and this is the reason why I wanted to single this out, was what some dudes will do is that they will target things that they feel like are luxury experiences or flashy experiences, but not necessarily things that you enjoy. And to me, that's kind of being dismissive of who you are as a person or things that you might like as a person. Because at the end of the day, not everybody asks to go to Steak 48 or Mastro's every weekend. Some people enjoy, some women like paint sips, some women like escape rooms, some women like to do go-karts. So I think what's important to note there is that there's probably a lack of attentiveness on his behalf, and he's probably seeing you more as like the trophy wife type or the trophy type, and not somebody who actually enjoys particular experiences. It's kind of very, I'll throw my money around, whatever, which is not only irresponsible but also, like I said, dismissive.
I can agree with that. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that might be my red flag because if I'm choosing to date, I want to go to Steak 48.
And that's fair, but that's what you like to do.
True.
But if you said, I wanted to go to a museum or I wanted to go,
oh, okay, then I should be able to do that too.
Right.
Okay.
Or if he knows those are things that you're interested in, then
it don't gotta just be Steak 48.
Right.
And, okay.
And he's always choosing something else. Yeah, exactly.
I
Now,
agree.
this one they're not gonna like me for this.
Wait, men or women not gonna like you for it?
Women not gonna like me for this one.
Okay, let's see.
They're really not gonna like me for this one.
Let's see.
So, and I'm gonna explain why it's a red flag. But men who push the agenda that women shouldn't have to do anything or that women are the priority, this is a red flag to me. And the reason why is because this is a hyperreaction to the lust that they are experiencing. Men who are actually healthy and who understand that, who want relationships that have longevity, understand that there needs to be a level of, well, really equity, not on necessarily all fronts, but overall there needs to be equity in the relationship. So the implication that women don't have to do anything is it's kind of egotistical because it's basically you saying, I'm going to take care of you or I'm going to pamper you or shower you based off of what I'm feeling right now or based off of principle. And I'm telling you, in the long run, those type of feelings fade. And it's generally based off of
love,
him.
Really.
Exactly. Him finding you beautiful.
Infatuated. That honeymoon phase.
Exactly.
But then when that wears off and you see them as a person, it's just like,
exactly.
What are you really doing? What are you really? How Precisely. Are you adding to this?
Precisely. And him just seeing you as this completely soft and fragile and helpless. But a level of vulnerability in relationships is actually, like we talked about, I think last week, is this interdependency thing where both people are contributing and both people need each other for the success of the relationship. And you don't develop that by pushing the narrative that women don't have to do anything at all, or that women are just the priority on all fronts. That really doesn't become your priority until you are. Well, she shouldn't really become your priority until y'all are married. Up until then, like obviously the relationship is something that you should definitely be pursuing to advance. But the idea that she didn't have to do anything ever, that is not how you build a strong and equitable relationship. And that is a foundation for a relationship that is definitely going to fail.
And I just feel like with that, the women, sometimes I feel like with this, that is true. I agree with what you're saying 100%. And I also know that as a woman, we grow up being taught that we are the prize. Like we're never taught, depending on the mother, we are not really taught how to treat a man. You know, like all we know is cook, clean, and you're the prize. We don't know, like, you have to be real support. Like you have to Have control of your emotions sometimes, just like he's gonna have to have control of his. Like we're not really taught the emotional intelligence that we need for the relationship. So in situations where like women do believe like I don't have to do anything, that's the most toxic. I'm going on a rant. I'm sorry, but that's the most
We can
toxic
talk about this next
stuff.
week on yours.
Oh my gosh! Like just sitting in your femininity, you're gonna get cheated on.
Not you're gonna get cheated on.
Nobody like, come on now. If like you're doing nothing,
Right.
if this man is giving his all to you and his emotional needs are being neglected, the minute that there's a woman who has what he needs,
Yeah.
you don't think he's gonna stay with this woman who's not doing anything? No, like no, that doesn't work long term.
Yeah. The way I think about it is if you sit there and do nothing, somebody else can sit there and do nothing. And the thing that's keeping him there is you sitting there doing nothing or being pretty. Somebody else can sit there and do nothing and be pretty. And that's not to say that, right. And it, on one hand, cheating is a character thing. But on the other hand, you can kind of pick up the signs of what is this? Does this man really like me? Because all he wants me to do is sit here and be pretty. Anybody, and y'all not gonna like me again for this one, but anybody who literally just wants you to sit there and be pretty it's
a trophy.
It's a trophy, and you are very likely to get cheated on. I mean, that's just not how you build an actual relationship.
You heard it from the both of us, okay?
Just telling you, I'm just letting you know. And then the last one, a friend of mine mentioned this week. I thought this was actually kind of hilarious. But she said a red flag of hers is, and I actually agree with this, is people who say they have an entrepreneurial spirit. Because people who are actually entrepreneurs will tell you what they do. I have a clothing line. I'm a beautician. I have my own hairline. I do this. But people who
just
use
I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
don't do anything.
Men who use like very ambiguous. I'm making plays. I'm making moves.
Like, cannot be trusted.
Right. What are you doing? What
There's
moves?
no security in that.
Right. What moves are you making, sir? You. Not everybody is meant for a 9 to 5, and that's perfectly fine. You can make money other ways, but people need to have a plan or an idea of exactly what they're doing. Just saying like I'm an entrepreneurial spirit, it's like okay.
And even in being an entrepreneur, there's so much risk involved in that anyways. So you can't just be like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur and have nothing going on. Like you're literally doing nothing. Like
okay.
I agree.
Now,
I like your red flag with the men.
See, I told you. We're
gonna argue with the women. I know that. The red flags with the men.
I'll be fair. I'm just like y'all. Look, you saw my red flags with the men,
I'm glad we started.
And y'all can see that I have some credibility now, and that I look at a lot of different things. So don't come up here talking about I'm this, I'm that because of my red flags with women. I don't want to hear it. All right. Come on, okay, we just
come on. Okay. The red flags with women.
No, we still recording. We need to really get this because I don't want to say it again. All right, deal breakers in women. Again, I mentioned it earlier. Deal breakers versus red flags. Deal breakers are just things that like I absolutely cannot deal with. Things that it's an automatic no-go. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. You may not even have some of the red flags on the list or all the red flags on the list, but just because of the circumstances, there's no way it would work at all. Just me personally. Again, all of these are based off of, all of these are fair because all of these are based off of things that I don't do in my life. So nothing that I have as a deal breaker is something that I do in my life. Number one is kids. I don't have any kids, so I'm not dealing with anybody who has kids. That's completely fair.
I agree. Baby mamas need to be with other baby daddies.
Baby mamas need to be with baby daddies.
Y'all understand, y'all relate. Be equally yoked.
Right. You chose, and I'm not. You might not even have planned for that to come to pass, but it's your responsibility now, and that's not a responsibility me as a single man with no kids is going to assume as well. I'm sure Pookie is real cool.
Not Pookie.
I'm sure Lil Ray Ray got great grades. I'm sure he's just a sweetheart, but I can't do it. Out of shape. I'm in excellent physical condition. Me personally, I work out 5 days a week. My diet for the most part is pretty impeccable. Fitness is something that I take very seriously. I don't just walk around expecting women to be in shape and I neglect my body. If you don't believe me, you can check out my TikTok or you can even download my fitness plan on my link tree. But out of shape, I can't do it. I just can't do it. Previous cheater, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Never in my life have I cheated on anybody. Never. It ain't gonna it ain't gonna work. It's just not gonna work. Bad diet. So you can be in shape and have a bad diet. The reason why a bad diet I singled it out is because that is, like Chad said, it's pattern. You can't you can't look like that for the rest of your life and eat like that for the rest of your life. At a certain point, if you want to maintain your figure, if you have a nice figure, you have to start eating well. And we kind of at the age where it's like
the metabolism is starting to slow down.
They're gonna slow down for a lot of really they're gonna slow down a little bit later, but really it's about developing habits right now. So if you got consistently bad habits right now, I would really start to consider checking yourself and really get into the mold of eating clean. I can give you some juicing recipes. I have resources, so it's not like it's not resources out there, free resources at that. Another thing, consistent clubbing. I'll be at the house. For the most part, I'll be at the house.
So, city girl life, I understand that. Like,
Yeah.
what are you really celebrating every weekend? Like, why are you out every weekend?
Every weekend. And some people, that's what they want to do. Some people, that's what they want to do. And I don't judge anybody for choosing to go do that. It's not my business.
It's just like a preference.
It's not my business, but I'm not your business either. That's just how it's going. If you want to know what my hobbies are, I shoot, I play golf, I read. I'll be in the house for the most part. Every now and then I'll step out. I got a few spots in Houston that I like to go to. Grab a drink with some friends every now and then. But the club life, that's not my life.
And I also feel like there's a difference between like brunch and club. Yeah. Club, you're looking like a euphoria character, half naked, like you can do some classic stuff during the day. You can have. It's not like you can't have fun. It's really just about the type of fun you like to have. So like the club stuff, that's not the type of fun you like to have.
Yeah.
So nothing wrong with anybody who thinks the club is fun.
It's nothing wrong with going every
Yes, it is something wrong with going every weekend.
No, every now and then.
Okay, so I was gonna say, as somebody who used to go every weekend.
Oh yeah.
Anybody who's going every weekend is like running from something. Like yes, like you're not actually happy.
I said that I'm be
Listen, I was there. Like if you're in the club every weekend, 9 times out of 10, you need to do some type of healing, some type of self-reflection. Like you're distracting yourself from something. So yeah. That got deep.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say every now and then, like we can step out. I mean, I don't have a problem stepping out.
But it's just like
consistently.
Every weekend,
I actually know. I know a couple of dudes who go out 3 to 4 times a week, and I'm like, bro, you that ain't for me though. That ain't my life.
Like they're drinking.
Yes, yeah, sections and everything. That ain't for me. The other one is a consistent drug user. I don't do any drugs, not even recreational. So it's just not.
I agree with that.
I mean, like occasional recreational use of drugs, like weed and stuff like that.
It's like not, but if you have an addiction, then there's a difference. You know.
You smoking several times a day. You doing hard drugs on the weekend.
As a woman, like it's not the best look. Honestly, and then like as a woman, your lips get all black and like you look like you do drugs. Like you can never. After a while, I'm so serious. As a beautician, dealing with a bunch of women, I have some clients who are super heavy smokers, and after a while, there's nothing you can do to look or smell clean. Like you're just gonna look dirty for a long time until you
dirty.
Seriously, like. It has a certain smell, the smell that comes from their mouth. They don't even have to be high. It just always smells like dirty broccoli.
Like, you ready to cancel the appointment?
I can smell it through the mask. I can smell it through the mask. So
my biggest thing by far is health and attitude. So usually people who make that a habit, a lot more lethargic, a lot more dissociated from life, and also very healthy. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I know people who smoke pretty consistently. Cigarettes, squares, weed and everything. It's just, look, man, I'm not judging you. Everybody got their thing, but
This is not your thing.
this one is self-explanatory. And if you want to get into it with me, we can. But if your financial plan is to marry rich, that's disgusting.
Giving sugar baby.
That's disgusting. I don't think I need to say anything about that.
Yeah, I ain't even gone. I agree.
Maybe at a later episode.
Yeah.
Not nurturing. Listen. 99% of the time, I'm hard.
Every man is a big baby in a relationship.
But listen, if you want to be vulnerable with you, I'm gonna need to be held.
I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. That's literally every man. Like
Right.
every man in a relationship.
I know Kadari is like that too.
Listen,
A baby.
he is bigger, like a bigger baby than me, sick. Like, and we can't be sick at the same time. Basically, we cannot
Right.
be sick at the same time.
Because both of y'all's babies.
He's a bigger baby, but
Uh-oh.
that's every man
Kadari.
though. That's literally every man. That's why, like, a lot of the times you hear girls say that they like the drug dealers and like the scammers, the hard people, just because they're so hard and aggressive in the streets, but with them they're like so soft. But that's literally every man. Every man needs a safe space to be vulnerable. So it's everybody.
Another deal breaker is argumentative. So I don't want this to be confused with confrontational or accountability, but basically women who everything is an argument. The approach to everything is an argument. It's always a power struggle, always a I'm right about this, I'm right about that, I need leverage in this, I need leverage in that. I don't This is supposed to be a relationship. Like any issues can be resolved with reasonable conversation. Things are gonna get heated like they always do. It's a relationship. But if the approach every single time is an argument, I can't even do it.
And I agree. And I know you are not a Bible thumper. Me as a Bible thumper, Proverbs is the book of the Bible that gives you a lot of wisdom. It says over and over and over in Proverbs, like, it's better to live in the corner of a leaky house than to live in a lavish mansion with an argumentative woman. Like, the Bible even says.
Really?
Yeah, you need to read Proverbs. It has a lot of wisdom.
You sound like my granny.
No, read Proverbs. I'm telling you, it has so much wisdom. It gives men game saying basically don't go lay with a whore because then your finances will be tied up with other people. Basically saying like if you laying with a whore, you're gonna end up being a baby daddy. Somebody else is gonna, enjoy the fruits of your labor. It gives men so much wisdom, and it also tells men what a good woman is.
That means she gonna put him on child support.
God was spitting. Was he not? Was he not?
We need to stop. And then the last one. Okay, I have to be very, very careful with this one because I need the audience to understand. Because I know you have a whole bunch of different followers, like a really big different demographic.
Mm-hmm.
This is for my life. This is just for my life. And again, like I will reiterate this one more time. This is for how I live. I personally cannot date a sex worker. Now,
let's talk about what a sex worker is.
Anything stripping, OnlyFans, prostitution. I don't judge anybody for doing anything. Seriously, just like I don't judge anybody for going out, just like I don't judge anybody for drug use, not drug use. But that doesn't fit with my life. I am not comfortable with other people seeing my girlfriend's or my wife's lady parts. I feel
that's very fair. Like
right.
I don't feel like you even have to tiptoe around that. That's super fair though. Yeah. Like, would I want my man slinging his wee around for money? No, that's mine. You know. Right, exactly. So it's just like
some people are okay with it though. Like some people really. Well, there are sex working relationships where both people are sex workers.
But they have to get it. You know, like the other person has to get it. But as somebody who like you have a respectable career, like you can't. I feel like that's not even the type of person you'll be able to bring to like business dinners or events like that. You got to also take that into consideration as well.
Well, I think you got to consider it. You do have to consider like the world is judgmental. And while we're not judgmental, there's definitely
people are observing at all times. I would say that it doesn't even have to be judgmental. It's an observation.
There's definitely a lot of struggle that comes with that type of relationship. That's why I think, again, we'll talk about priorities later on, like further down the line in the podcast. But being with somebody who understands your lifestyle and who fits in with your lifestyle is very important. That doesn't fit in with my lifestyle person. That's all it is. Now, red flags in women. This is my number one. Actually, this is one of my number ones. No, you're not gonna argue with this one. Okay. You're gonna like this. Expects to be chased and not put in any effort. It doesn't matter what angle you take. Let's take the traditional angle because that's the one that we want to use when it comes to dating. Mm-hmm. You say the man should make the first move. I'm cool with that. Mm-hmm. I'm cool with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
But then who makes the second?
Well, see, it's not even about that. It's really not even about who acts on this first date or who acts on the second date for me. It's, do I like you, and am I gonna make myself available, and am I gonna put in effort to get to know you during the process? If you say it's a man's job to initiate the date, first date, second date, third date, whatever, and you say that you want to get to know him and understand him better, you have to make yourself available and susceptible to that process.
That's true. Instead of just being like, I'm not free this Wednesday.
Right, and let me see how hard he's gonna fight for it. Because me, I got better shit to do.
So it's just like, all right, she's not serious. On to the next.
No, deadass. For example, I take you on the first date, and I say, okay, second date, are you free this day? No, I'm not free that day. And you don't hit me with no, but I'm free this day. I'm gonna say, okay, she don't like me, I'm gonna move on. Just like that. Because it doesn't, you're not even initiating the date. All you gotta do is
showing no interest at all.
No interest. All you gotta do is give an alternative.
True. It's just like meet you halfway, basically. Exactly. Like if she's just as interested, she can meet you halfway. It's like you're not supposed to just stand there and do. This goes back into you saying like a woman doing absolutely nothing in a relationship. Like
exactly.
I understand that.
Exactly. That's a precursor for how she expects to be treated in a relationship.
Mm-hmm. Just stand there and look pretty.
Stand there and look pretty, and we don't do that over here. Second one, lack of motivation in career, exercise, and hobbies. You don't necessarily, I like housewives. Mm-hmm. You don't necessarily have to have a corporate career. That's not really that important, but you need to have some kind of motivation in something. Exercise, hobbies, some kind of passion for service. You gotta enjoy, you gotta
do something.
You gotta want to do something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You can't just be lazy.
You can't just be lazy. You can't just sit around expecting things to just happen. It almost doesn't matter what exactly the motivation is in, as long as it's something that could be constructed through the relationship. So if you want a more modern relationship and you're very passionate about your career, not because of money, but because of passion, I love that. I respect the hell out of that. If you don't really want a career in corporate, but you're more passionate about housework, you're more passionate about service, and that's where you put your time in, we can roll with that.
It's just like, what I'm hearing from it is you just want passion behind something. You want love behind something. Like
passion behind something that has nothing to do with rappers' baby mamas. This is where we're going to start to disagree.
Okay.
Actually, you're going to agree with this one. We'll see. All her friends are attractive.
See, that's one thing that, like, I can't agree with. Like,
really?
Seriously, because I got to the point in my life where, at first, like, when you're younger, you're just vibing. You're not really paying attention to looks. But when you're an attractive woman, it's almost dangerous to, like, hang around people who are unattractive because envy and jealousy is real amongst women. So.
But you don't think that first of all, it's statistically impossible for one woman that is extremely attractive to just stumble upon other women who are also just extremely attractive, and only women that are extremely attractive. So in order for you to have only attractive friends, you would have to have targeted those friends.
Like, oh, she's pretty, I want to be her friend.
Exactly. Which is shallow.
It's a little shallow. I'm not going to lie.
That's a lot shallow.
As a woman, though, it feels so good to have pretty friends. Like, you don't want to go out with no ugly girls, because then
why not though? That's a friend.
You're not going to get anything for free. Like,
see, and now we get to the meat. And now we get to the meat.
But the thing is, listen, that is.
I'll be having points. I'll be having
That
fun.
is the fun part of going out, like having a great time for free. The only thing I'm paying for is valet parking. That is an amazing night.
Kadari, I'm making sense, right? He get it. Yeah. Nah. You can't attack him. You can't attack him.
Listen. So I'll say this: like, okay, their main friends attractive. As a woman, I really do understand that. You can't always like, okay. For instance, this is a very long time ago. I had a friend. She was like on the bigger side.
Uh-huh.
I've always been small, but even in being small, like when you're used to having a flat stomach, if you're a little bloated, like you're gonna feel big, you know. So it was one day where I was feeling bloated. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't feel good about myself. I feel like fat or whatever. And she literally went off on me. Was like, you should not be complaining, da, 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 because she was big. And after that, I learned, okay, I don't need big friends because I need somebody who gets it, you know. It doesn't matter how attractive you are. Everybody's gonna have a day where they're not feeling themselves, and I need somebody who is also attractive, who is not gonna feel themselves every day to be like, "Girl, it's just today," you know.
But don't you think it's possible to find unattractive friends who get it and who aren't jealous of you?
Very hard.
I don't think it's as hard
It
as to find
depends
this.
on the girl. I'm telling you, it depends on the girl because some girls will admire you from afar. Oh, you, because even the unattractive girls will look at you and be like, "Oh my gosh, you're so pretty. I want to be your friend." You need to like
I
get
know, I
some
know, I know. I agree. Like, I think girls try to be friends with other girls that are pretty.
because they relate.
Right, but I think you can relate with women who are unattractive.
Yeah, that is true. You can have some
I can
unattractive
relate with
friends.
dudes that's unattractive.
I know you can. Me being messy, but
Stop.
I just feel like I don't know. Pretty girls link up. That's just the thing. Now, okay,
Yeah.
I almost understand, but it's just like if that's her friends, like you gotta think. We know someone who all her friends are bad.
Yeah. And
Like
then it's a big red flag.
she's a big red. Oh, okay, it makes sense. Okay, it makes sense. I agree.
You
I
see
agree.
it? You see
Yeah,
it? I'll be
I
making
agree now.
sense.
I
I'll be
agree
making
now.
sense.
I agree.
Anyways.
Dang, daddy.
Yeah.
Okay,
We talking about the same person, I
we are. Jason.
think. Yes.
We talking about the same person.
Yes.
I agree.
Pattern behavior of dating athletes. Now, I just want to put this out there. There's nothing wrong if you got an athlete boyfriend. It's just nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't got nothing against athletes. There's some cool ass athletes. But to have a pattern behavior of dating strictly athletes, this is kind of like the friend thing. Also, it's like you're targeting athletes, which to me is a little hard to grasp because what would you exactly be targeting? You could be targeting. You could say, okay, well, I'm just physically attracted to them, but there are
You could be fit without being an athlete.
bingo.
I understand that.
So what do you
But
after?
what if she's an athlete?
Okay, I was actually gonna say that if you're an athlete, that's different.
Okay, but if you just
Right.
like regular and
Right.
when you say athlete, do you mean college athlete or professional athlete?
Well, the way it works is, when you're at any level, because when
Mhm.
you're a girl in college, you're gonna target college athletes.
Mhm.
When you're in the real world, you're gonna target professional athletes.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Want to be a basketball wife?
I didn't say it. You did.
Okay.
I'm not disagreeing with it,
I
bro.
wanted to like argue with you.
Exactly. But you see, that's the thing. You want to argue, but I be making sense.
You make sense. I'll
Exactly.
give you that. You make
I'll
sense.
be making sense. Next one, life goals are luxury oriented as opposed to peace and happiness. It's nothing wrong with wanting to be financially stable. But if you wake up every day and you just strictly want to live in luxury, like you want to break your back to live in luxury, it's I gotta have luxury. I gotta have luxury. And there's nothing wrong with wanting luxury things. I mean, that's cool, but that's a component of your life. That's not a
Your
driver
whole
of your
life.
life. Exactly. And a lot of women I've noticed are very driven to live exclusively in luxury. I guess you gotta live in luxury. That to me, that's a red flag.
Okay, let's define a luxury lifestyle that you're talking about.
Luxury is basically the whole Instagram bag.
Instagram aesthetic.
Aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to like portray this IG model type lifestyle for the internet, like that is the you doing too much.
Yeah.
It's like if you don't really like that outside of the internet, like if would you want this same stuff without like outside of Instagram, you know?
Yeah, and there's an obsessiveness that I think is commonly associated with it. It's constantly pursuing the Chanel, the Vuitton, and this and that. And it's cool if you just like that stuff. If you genuinely just, I like that stuff for me because I think
You can afford it on your own too, though.
right, exactly. You can afford it on your own. You just kind of have a taste of fashion. That's cool. But this whole, I want to emulate this look, emulate
You
this.
want to be Ari. You want to be Jada.
Jesus
Ain't
Christ.
got no real life goals.
Jesus Christ. That yes, red flag. My next one is she glamorizes her wedding but not her marriage. So we've discussed this before.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's your marriage is gonna last you a lifetime, and it kind of shows you want the attention for the day, but you're not might not be
Literally.
very interested in actually building that marriage or that relationship in the long run, which is
That is a very, very, very good point. Because I know a lot of girls who have their Pinterest lined up with exactly how they want their wedding to be, and when it's like that, it's kind of scary because it's just like, as a man, like, do you want me, or do you just need somebody to marry to like,
right.
fulfill this? Like, you just want a wedding, and you need somebody to have this wedding with.
Yeah,
So
that's not that don't sit right with me. Um, this whole go with the flow, lack of intentionality. I feel like you gotta have a plan around something in your life. It kind of shows why I want to get just swept up off my feet. I don't really want to do too much. I just want to chill and vibe, and I feel like that's kind of an indicator that you might be lazy or you might be
there's
just
no retirement plan.
right,
There's no 401k.
right,
Don't count on it. Don't
right,
count on it.
right. I don't like that. I just feel like you need to.
It feels unsafe.
Honestly,
Because
I
it's
feel
just
like you have
like,
to have something that you plan around to show that you taking some initiative in your life about something.
I agree.
And this is where I get kind of petty. But if she co-signs anything that Jada Pinkett Smith does, or Jada Pinkett, since that's how she acts, I just
And to Jada Pinkett's defense, if you watch the Red Table Talk, Will Smith says, I was done with her ass. So she went off and did her thing. It was really an entanglement. She literally, Will said, I was done with her ass. She wanted to feel wanted. And that's how all of that stuff happened with August. Now, like with August, I do feel like he's a victim. It should have been anybody else but him. He was vulnerable. But Will said he was done with her.
she is a dangerous cougar.
But hey, Will said he was done, so can't really fault her if he said he was done. You don't think he did anything while he was done with her?
Oh, probably why he was like separated. But I think leading up to then, I think she probably did some stuff to. She probably did a lot of dirt under the radar. And I don't know.
I don't
I'm
know.
not very.
She ain't tell that part of the business, so I got to
And
get her back.
even now, she just seems like she's always trying to check him about how she feels about him. It's so weird. Her obsession with Tupac still. It's
Yeah.
like, all that is weird.
You're just like, dang, bitch.
And then Chaz does not agree with this one, but changing hairstyles every month.
As a beautician, change your hair as much as you want to. That's how I pay my bills. No hairstyle lasts for longer than a month. So say if a girl has braids, by that fourth week, her braids are dusty. Like it's time to do something different. Even with sewing, like if you have a sew-in, yeah, you can wash your hair, but you're not washing it good.
I'm not
Like
talking about hair upkeep though. I'm talking about completely changing. One month you got braids, the next month you got a pixie cut, and then after that you want
I can
pictures out
see,
your ass.
I can see the like, damn girl, you ain't got no consistency. But as a beautician, like, I just feel like it's in a form of expression. Do you like dress the same? You got the same vibe all the time. Sometimes I'm chill. Sometimes I want to be super dressed up. It's just like you dress for how you feel, and your hair is gonna resemble how you feel. Sometimes you feel like a little diva. You want a pixie cut. You want a bob. Sometimes you want like the sexy librarian, side part, glasses. Like. I don't know. I just see it as like changing your outfits. Like
And
same vibe.
then my last two. This one is She follows Ari Fletcher. You gotta get out of here.
What if she just like drama? Like, what if she just is entertaining? Hey, that's your red flag. I do agree that Arya is a little unhinged, but
And then my last one is she says that you have to cash at her for her time.
escort,
Escort.
glorified prostitution. That's all that the female rappers are, teaching our young girls these days. So that's what you get. Like, that's what the world is now. It's sad, but I understand because no man can tell me like I gotta pay for a first date or I gotta pay him for his time.
That's crazy.
Insane. I agree.
That's my general list of red flags. There are different things. Obviously, there's some things over the years that I picked up as well. How to kind of determine if she's interested in you, if she's using you. We should probably do a whole different one on usury on both sides. That
Yes,
was gonna be big. I'm really big. I'm really big on not getting used and not letting people around me get used. I'm very, very huge on both people putting in equal effort in a relationship. So we're gonna talk about that one later. But next week
it's gonna be my list of red flags and
we're
absolute
gonna
hell
talk about
no's with men and women.
her list of red flags. So I'll be reacting to hers. So y'all can get some diversity or some different perspectives. But
I
I
don't
feel
think
like
that
mine
they're
is good.
ever, yeah, like, and I'm sad about it because I feel like they'll never be like argument. Like I
Yeah.
really want that for them to be like, ooh, spicy drama, but
And this is what happens when a man is healthy and at peace.
I
I'm
agree with
fair.
that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So, y'all tune in next week to see my list, and hopefully y'all will get an argument out of it.
I'm
I'll
not
try.
giving her that satisfaction,
We'll
but
see.
you might get something. So I
So,
don't know. Thank y'all for tuning in to
and we'll
episode
see
2 of
next
Safe
time.
Space. Yeah, we had some technical difficulties, so just ignore that. Act like it's still daytime. And y'all have a nice night.